Okay, quick video here on Charis models and model selection and tool selection. Okay, so a question was asked about how do you make the model choices? Okay, so the choices for the models are deterministic, and that's driven by the admin. So you can come over here and do a slash command, and there's completion for slash commands. So you can see when I hit slash, like the major commands come up, and then I could keep typing, or I could just go through this list and find the command that I want. So if I go to audio, for example, and hit enter, you can see that now audio providers comes up, and I can go up and down, use my up and down arrows to go through the choices. Uh, and I'm looking at text to speech right now, which is highlighted, and you can see 11 labs is suggested or selected. And I can go change it to voice box, which is local text to speech conversion, or XAI. So I have three different choices here. I sort of like 11 labs, but um, it's the most expensive as well, but it's also probably the most flexible. But it sort of depends on the task, because if I'm creating audiobooks, which is another feature of Charis here, off of internet content or your own content, VoiceBox is kind of a cool choice because an audiobook can contain a lot of text, and so if you run that through 11 labs, it's going to cost you to run a whole audiobook through there. Probably a little impractical. Um, but using VoiceBox, that's where VoiceBox shines, because it's actually pretty good. Well, actually, let's choose VoiceBox. I don't know why it came up with an error. That's interesting. But it seemed to select um, speak a um, say speak row your boat. Oh, okay, interesting. I don't hear anything.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
Okay, so that's VoiceBox, and as you can tell, VoiceBox is actually pretty good. There's not too many voices that come standard with it, but you can like upload your own and stuff. So it has some capabilities there for sure, and some people have made it do some really great stuff. I'm just sort of not really a VoiceBox expert per se, but it is good. And I've also considered too, like for audiobooks, it'd be kind of cool to use like different voices for the different um, people speaking in the book to sort of make it more authentic instead of just reading it with a single voice. And that's definitely something the AI could do. So it could break down the audio text to find out who the different characters are, and then come up with a narrator voice, and then come up with a voice for each character. That would that would be kind of cool. I think that's totally possible. But right now, I just use like I mean, my goal isn't necessarily to make a great audiobook creation tool. It's just kind of like, Cheris is kind of like my Jarvis, I guess. So I just wanted the capability to have an audiobook and have an image on the cover, and be able to um, uh, be able to like listen to uh, non-copyrighted material um, offline on my iPhone. Um, but there's also practical purpose too. Like if you want to develop security training materials, and those people want to do a little offline learning, or just like upload it to their iPhone and like listen at night, or listen from their comfy chair, Um, they could do that. So it opens up all kinds of possibilities for either custom content that you create, training materials, or freely available books that are you can find out there, like on Gutenberg and sites like that. So um, let's change this back over. So that was VoiceBox. Let's go back to 11 Labs. Make sure that's set just to be sure. Yeah, okay. Something about setting it makes an error. So models, these are the thinking models that you can choose from. So um, I have Grok and, well, I have Anthropic and I don't have OpenAI support at the moment because basically XAI and Grok models are working for me. And then I also have Anthropic models, which work really great. They're just a little more costly. And then I also have like Olama. So if I hit my right arrow here, you can see how there's a lot of different Grok models available to me, as well as like my local um, Llama that's running and the models that are on Olama. So set it back to Grok. And then so you can see so that's the planner tier. That's the most complex thinking. Um, if I wanted to, I could make well, the reason you don't see the Anthropic models come up here is because I actually have the Anthropic provider turned off at the API level. So I'll show you how to do that in a minute here. So Reasoner, I can select the tier 2 Reasoner model. And then for workers, like everyday sort of tasks like processing, like prompt results and those sort of things, that would be the worker. So this is the definition of the deterministic choices that the administrator gets to make. Distillation would be uh, formulation of knowledge vault content, which is the wiki, from different materials. So those materials might be PDF documents, which internally can be organized like text, which in that case is pretty easy to process and then upload into the wiki. Or in some cases, those PDFs are organized internally as images, which takes like OCR capabilities, and that's sort of where more complex like distillation comes involved. And so for those sort of tasks, I use different models here that you can choose from. I find that using a higher model for the distillation like works better. It's just smarter. It gets more stuff. Um, but the distillation also makes determination of, well, do I just update the vault page that's there, or do I create a new vault page, or um, it also has different rules for distilling that the administrator can choose, like sort of content management rules. So I don't particularly like more than 15 different context sections in a vault. And so if the content goes like over 15 sections, then the AI has to figure out, like, well, do I add a new page, or do I just like, make this the best, uh, take the best 15 sections of the current page and like update them, or, that sort of thing. Timeline. So when somebody posts a message on the timeline, there's AI that runs as well. Here I'm using a local Gwen 2 on Olama to process the timeline info, just because there can potentially be a lot of different stuff on the timeline. And so we're just testing basic rules here, like, checking for profanity and that kind of stuff. So when somebody posts a message, it's not actually posted right away. It sort of goes into this pending state. And then your timeline model that's selected here is the one that processes it. And, and sometimes it can get things wrong too. So I guess I sort of appreciate, uh, some of these companies that sort of want to corral what's going on a timeline without being too heavy-handed with censoring. And so this is kind of where you see some of the balance. Like I've tried to post some content on here, and Gwen is not really the smartest model compared to, say, Grok and the other frontier models. So sometimes it makes mistakes. It thinks that I've said something profane when I haven't, that sort of thing. Um, but the cool thing is anyway, so I guess I don't want to get into all my content sort of processing rules here, but this is how the models are selected or determined by the admin. Now, as far as which services are available, that's more a high level thing here. So if you in the Charis services API keys, so I have to post my API key for Anthropic and XAI, and these are the different APIs that I have support for at the time. Um, I'm sort of getting rid of Comfy here. That was sort of like a image processing experiment, but I think it's actually a neat tool, but it's just a little heavier than it's made for real like video creation and stuff. And this is a little more than what I need here for Charis. Um, but yeah, so I have Anthropic, XAI, Tavily for searching, and Map Tyler for mapping, 11 Labs for speech, and then you don't see a llama in here, but that's because a llama is free and doesn't require an API key. Um, and as far as like how models are selected by the AI, that's in the tool prompts. So these are all the different AI tools that are available to Charis. So they, the planning and the reasoning model choices that you make are the brains for Charis. Um, these tools are the um, tools that AI is allowed to use in a session, and each tool has some prompt text that goes with it that explains how to use it and what it does. And the AI can read all these things and use them. So, like here's the command, the AI command for knowledge vault ingestion. When it goes to ingest content and create pages or update existing pages. So it explains the command to the AI and how to use it, and but it doesn't actually determine what models are going to service this command. So that's where the deterministic admin choices come from. And then I have all the different tool prompts here, sort of categorized as well, so you can sort of cut your display size down. So here's the ones for the knowledge vault, um, which doesn't actually seem right to me here. Knowledge, yeah, because it doesn't have ingest. Uh, but it's more or less correct for sure. Um, if you click all, you see everything for sure. But some of these categories I might have some bugs in here. I think I do in this knowledge vault one, because there's one other command that's not listed here. And actually, there's like months worth of bugs in here for me to fix. The point is not the bugs, I guess. The point is that the thing actually is kind of interesting and works. So uh, it's kind of fun to experiment with. Um, okay, and then another example for how it reads content here. So we could ask it, we could like type in the AI prompt and tell it to read a page. So here's turning on. So let's do that. Um, speak the turning on, turning on AG vault pay, VAULT page. And so it knows how to look up the vault pages, and then it knows how to grab it, summarize it, and then speak it to us.
Ternion AG Overview. Ternion AG was a Swiss joint stock company domiciled in Glarus, Canton of Glarus. It was incorporated on 18 April 1932 with share capital of 100,000 Swiss francs and dissolved through liquidation completed in 1952 when it was deleted from the cantonal commercial register. Corporate purpose: participation in electrophysical enterprises and laboratories and related activities. The firm is documented primarily through certified Handelsregister Amt Glarus register files, Ordnungs number 152, and through a family of 1930s high-frequency and dipolar substance patents with inventor Ernst Edward Wilhelm Kastner. For example, U.S. Patent 2,089,966 and GB 417,501 class process for altering the energy content of dipolar substances. Related vault pages include Vibranic Limited, Max Stoffel, the Johnson dipolar energy patent, Kastner ultra shortwave apparatus, Kastner dipolar substance apparatus, the infrared ray device, Kastner FWO, Bach, GEC, Marconi. Scientist deaths, Ternion investigation notes, Swiss joint stock company, and foreign scientist case files 1945 to 1958. Founding and incorporation. Ternion AG Glarus was incorporated on 18 April 1932. The founding subscription agreement was signed in St. Gallen by Max Stoffel, 60 shares, and Dr. Hans Hoffmann, 40 shares, at a nominal value of 1,000 Swiss francs per share. Both agreed to the draft statutes and waived presentation formalities beyond the notarial record. The constitutive general meeting of shareholders was held the same day in the town hall in Glarus. Max Stoffel chaired. Dr. Hans Hoffmann served as teller. Notary Dr. H. Trumpy recorded the protocol. Statutes were approved unanimously without change. The company was formally established under the name Ternion AG. Capital was confirmed fully subscribed and paid. Registered office was later recorded at the office of Balthasar Oertli Heer, Hauptstrasse, Glarus. Headquarters jurisdiction was Glarus and could be moved by General Assembly resolution. Official publication organ, Swiss Official Gazette of Commerce. Capital, shareholders, and governance. Share capital: 100,000 Swiss francs, divided into 100 registered shares of 1,000 francs each.
Okay, we'll stop that. So that, so when you read it from the command line, like I did by telling the AI to do it, it sort of is not quite you can tell it was kind of like going through turning on sections, like sort of, it looks like one by one or something like that. Anyway, that's like kind of sort of boring and doesn't necessarily make for a good read. So like when you're reading, you don't want to like read all this stuff verbatim. You just kind of want a summary. So, for example, if you read this content and then I asked you what it was about, you wouldn't say section 1 overview and then read the whole thing. You would just sort of tell me what it was about. You wouldn't tell me everything. You just kind of tell me the highlights. And so the read page button, which it does the similar thing as just typing it in from the prompt, except it sort of has like a little nicer prompt for this here, so it summarizes better. So you can hear what that sounds like.
A Swiss company set up in 1932 to tinker with the energy inside water molecules using tuned high-frequency fields sounds like something from a spy novel. Yet Ternion AG really existed in the quiet canton of Glarus. Its patents describe placing dipolar substances in ultra-shortwave fields so the molecules absorb or shed energy at resonance, detected through shifts in how light passes through the sample. The main inventor, Ernst Kastner, filed a string of these ideas across Britain and the United States while the company paid for the work, and balance sheets from the mid-30s show research spending dwarfing everything else. One of the directors, Max Stoffel, also sat as sole liquidator when the firm voted to wind up in 1937 because it could no longer fund the lab bills. The formal deletion from the register did not happen until 1952, after years of tax clearances and notarial paperwork. During that same period, a British researcher from GEC's labs, FWO, Bauch, spent time with the group on decimeter wave techniques, an episode Corporate Histories later left out. The same technical thread later reappears under a successor firm called Vibranic, which picked up an infrared ray patent in 1951. What makes the story linger is how an obscure joint stock vehicle with two initial shareholders managed to underwrite genuinely novel, high-frequency apparatus, then vanish so thoroughly that even its collaborators seem to have been written out of the record.
There you go. So part of a little side hobby of mine is reviewing um, many different science papers and books from long ago. Um, and Turning on AG was part of the information. Anyway, it's a very novel company and probably um, on the edge of some black technology, actually. But um, that's for a whole nother video, I guess. But as you can see, that was a much more interesting read than the previous. And so you can do things several ways in Charis. Uh, and Now probably we should improve Charis so that when you ask for things from the AI and you go to read, it uses the same prompt so it forms like a really good summary. Because I know when you go through the vault and you click on read, it will also cache the audio. So if somebody else goes to read the same vault page, then the audio has already been created. So unless you choose a different voice or a different audio provider, then the audio can be shared and doesn't have to be recreated each time. So there's some efficiencies here too. Um, but anyway, this is a little bit um, how the models are selected by the administrator and um, how the AI makes a choice as to what sort of how it's going to use the tools, but maybe not necessarily how the model choices are made. Those are deterministic. This right here is sort of a status screen. It sort of gives the admin an idea of what model choices are currently in effect, the state of the different features of Charis, so the main server connection. Models is yellow because not all the configured models have been enabled. So for instance, I turned off Anthropic like I showed you earlier. And so the model's chip is yellow to indicate it's still functional, but it's operating degraded. NVD is the National Vulnerability Database. PRJ0 is Google Project Zero, which I currently have offline now. These are the audio models. Again, same thing here. There is support in audio. You saw the three different choices that I had, but not all the audio is active. Image and image processing and video creation. So same thing. We can tell it to create us an image of a person, of a hacker sitting at the keyboard typing in code. There, see what it creates for us. All right, there we go. Um, Looks pretty good. Okay, and we can also say create a, okay, we can say that looks pretty good. How about a short video clip? See what it comes up with. All right. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Take care. Yeah. So you can see, yeah, 5 second little mini clip of our hacker doing something at the keyboard. Although this is a different guy from the first. Um, so there is a way, I think, to pass in seed images so you can transition from one clip to the next clip and sort of have like a consistent theme. Um, I, again, that's a, something I could do better at here. Um, and I'm not quite there yet. Um, but as you can see, like there's some interesting capabilities here. Um, Now, I noticed that I don't have for these clips like a link thing. I have copy and regen, but I should have a link because a link would be kind of cool to, so I could like include in posts. But I guess I could copy it and then post. Here is a pic. Nope, that doesn't work. Um, well, I could copy it down and then attach it, I guess. So I don't have these tools quite, connected right, but I could save it to my laptop, I guess. Um, and then post it like this. Yeah, there we go. So I could post it. And there you go. There's the picture. But I had to, and it's pending because the AI is checking it for compliance with the policies before it actually posts it to the timeline. Um, and then I think there's like a little bug where the pending doesn't go away. Oh no. Okay, it did. Awesome. I guess yeah, there was a little bug where the pending wouldn't go away until I refreshed the page. And then you can see it gives us a little editable chip here. So we get a certain period of time to change the text. So we can go edit and change the text. Um, and then you can see it's under review now because we changed the text. So it takes it a little bit to, to propagate the change on the timeline. Let's see if we, now this thing is, oh, your timeline edit was declined. Yeah, so probably, oh, it says, it says declined for pornographic content. Um, yeah, so that Grok model is, excuse me, it's not Grok, that's for sure. Uh, it's the Gwen from Olama, which is doing the timeline. And it's the not really the greatest model. Let's see timeline. Here we go. Um, Here is the pick approved. Well, there was. Oh, interesting. I don't know. It's not showing my. It's not showing the update here. Oh, that's interesting. Well, what it should be doing is showing how we wanted to make an edit, um, and that the edit was denied, so that I could give it. Here you can see, there was I did a test profanity here, and it was denied. It caught it just fine, and I could click overturn to then approve it. Um, but the idea is that the AI takes care of everything. I think it's a matter of like figuring out what models, you know, process things better. And the nice thing about having this sort of reasoning chain here is you can see what the model decided. You can overturn it if you want to, but also it's supposed to give you some information so that you can see how to craft your query or whether you need to use a different model that's a little smarter. So anyway, a little bit about how timeline stuff is approved. All right, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.